Former D.C. homicide detective and Fox News contributor Ted Williams joins me now. Ted, I'd like to always get your overall assessment. You've had some time to look at this and just to get your thoughts on what happened here and what might have prevented it.
Charles, first, if I could, let me offer my deepest condolences to the Kupfer family. This young lady, Brianna Kupfer, was just a wonderful, radiant person who had gone to the University of Miami and got an undergraduate degree, and now she was at UCLA getting a graduate degree, and she was working at this high-end furniture store. And from all that we're able to see and have been told, an individual who was homeless came in and killed her. Now, what they're looking at, Charles, is his clothes that he was wearing. As you can see, he had all black on and was pretty well camouflaged. But there are other videos of him being in other stores in that area that they're also looking at. They're looking at the manner in which he walked. And they do believe, and I have to believe also, that with an award of over $200,000, that somebody at some stage will turn him in.
Right.
But that is only, unfortunately, the beginning of what is going on there in L.A. Crime is just out of control, Charles.
Yeah, it is, and I'm going to get to that. But I want to get back to that video we're watching. And to me, he looks like he's dressed like a ninja, right? And he's pacing, and he's got this sort of deliberate, lurking, stalking kind of movement. He's all covered up. Could a police officer on patrol, could they have pulled over to question him as someone who looks out of place? Someone, again, who's dressed all in black, looks like a ninja, is lurking around. Could he have been pulled over?
I can tell you as a lawyer, it is highly unlikely that a police officer could do that without violating, unfortunately, the constitutional rights of the person to just pull him over. If there's some justification, you could pull a person over. But he's dressed that way, but that is not so uncommon in Los Angeles out there. A lot of, unfortunately, homeless people dress in that manner, Charles.
Okay. Let's go with the homeless situation that's playing such a difficult role, not just in Los Angeles, but a lot of crimes. We've seen some crimes here in New York City recently that people appear to be either homeless and or mentally unstable. A recent poll in Los Angeles, overwhelmingly people are complaining about the homelessness. What can be done about that particular situation? Because that does seem to be the source of some of the more outrageous crimes we've been seeing committed.
Yeah, you're right. Let's just take what took place there in New York. Asian woman on a subway, and all of a sudden she's pushed into the subway by a homeless man who was alleged to have had some mental problems. We've had the smash and grabs, thievery, should I say, out there in California, and that is taking place. What we are finding is that crime is up all over the country. You have these individuals who have mental problems, and they need to be dealt with, and a lot of them are homeless. They're the individuals, Charles, that unfortunately that are just below the radar screen that are not being dealt with. But there are various units within various police departments and in various governments that can help out in that instance.
Ted, we heard part of this in Jonathan Hunt's report. I want you to hear now the victim's father, and after we listen to it, I'd like your reaction.
What's endemic in our society right now is that everybody seems to be oriented on giving back rights and bestowing favor on people that rob others of their rights, people that are falling out the bottom that really don't care about the other human beings and just think they can do whatever they like in our society, and they are doing it more and more in every community.
Ted, your thoughts?
Charles, you know, I got to tell you, Todd Kupfer, the father of Brianna Kupfer, is right on target. Law-abiding citizens are pushed to the side. You've got Gaston, the DA out there in L.A., and it seems as though his concerns is about criminals. There in Manhattan, in New York, you've got Alvin Bragg, who is the DA there, and he's concerned more about criminals, so much that many individuals in his office have left. And as a result of that, you're losing experience in lawyers to prosecute these various crimes. We've got to start being more concerned about law-abiding citizens who are trying to walk around and live a daily lives. We're concerned about that criminal and that criminal element out there. And that criminal element is killing people, harming people. And now, as we can see here in L.A., that criminal element, a homeless person, walks into a store and stabs a young girl to death, a young girl who had everything to live for. This is what we're dealing with in society, and we need prosecutors, judges, and police officers to go after these lowlives.
Yeah.
And we're not having that in our various communities, Charles.
You know, Ted, when the press conference started, the councilman said, we should never allow this kind of lawlessness to become commonplace. Some would say it might be too late. Ted, thank you so much for your passion and your expertise. We'll talk to you again soon, hopefully when we get some better news. Thanks, Ted.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.